Hi, hello friends. Welcome to Chinda's Smart Class. Today we are going to discuss about security services and security mechanisms. In previous session, we have seen different types of security goals and different attacks and targeting on security goals. So in this session, we are going to discuss about security services and security mechanisms. So these security services and security mechanisms are defined by ITUT. So ITUT means International Telecommunication, ITUT. So this means International Telecommunications Union Telecommunications. Okay. So what is this ITUT? International Telecommunications Union Telecommunications. This is a standardization sector which standardize some algorithms defined for security services and security mechanisms. So this organization provides security services and security mechanisms. So what are the security services we have? Security services. So generally, security services and security mechanisms, these two are interrelated. That means different types of security mechanisms provides the same service. One mechanism can provide different types of services. Okay, so one service can be provided by multiple mechanisms, and one mechanism can provide different security services. So that's why these two are interrelated. So first we are going to discuss about security services. Totally there are 5 services. First one, data confidentiality. Data confidentiality. Okay, first one, data confidentiality. That means we need to protect the data from attacker by interception. So we need to provide the protection to the data from attacker. Actually, using this service, we can provide protection to the data like hiding the data or transforming the data from readable format to unreadable format. Okay, so this is confidentiality. We are providing the secrecy to the data through this service. And next one, data integrity. Data integrity. So data integrity means protecting the data from unauthorized changes, unauthorized modifications like insertion, deletion, updation. So these are the modifications. We need to protect the data from unauthorized changes. So here there are different types of services under this category: integrity, anti-change, anti-change, anti-replay attack. Okay, so these are the examples of services provided under integrity. And next one, authentication. Authentication means this service provides the authentication of either the party, that means either to the entity or to the message. Okay, so here two types of authentications are there: a peer entity authentication and data origin authentication. Peer entity means either sender or the receiver, both must be authenticated to each other. Okay, that means peer entity authentication. And next, data origin authentication. Data origin authentication means the data must be received by the receiver from authorized person. Okay, then that means the message must be coming from authorized person. Okay, so origin of the message, that means origin of the message. So that is called data origin authentication. Peer entity authentication means it provides the authentication of either sender or the receiver during the communication. And data origin authentication means it provides the authentication to the message. Okay, there are two types. One is peer entity authentication, and next data origin authentication. Okay, peer entity means the sender and receiver must be authenticated to each other. And data origin means message must be authenticated. The message received by the receiver must be authenticated message. It must be received by authorized person. Okay, and it must be sent by the authorized person. That is authentication. And next one, non repudiation. Non repudiation. So in last session we have already discussed about repudiation. Repudiation means either sender or the receiver might deny the message. The sender might deny the message sent by the sender. Okay, and the receiver might deny the message received by the receiver. Okay, so further attack, there is a service non repudiation. So here we need to provide the proof. Okay, so like proof of origin. Okay, proof of origin, that means proof of sender. And next, proof of delivery. Okay, proof of origin means it is for the sender. He cannot deny the message sent by the sender. Okay, proof of origin, that means proof of origin. Proof of delivery means the message is delivered to the receiver. So after some time he cannot deny that he does not receive the message. Okay, this is for receiver. That means non repudiation. Proof of origin, it is for the sender, and proof of delivery, it is for the receiver. Okay, and last one, access control. Access control. So access control means which provides the protection against unauthorized access to the data. Okay, so to provide the service, we are providing some pin numbers, passwords, credentials. Okay, so here we are providing the credentials. Okay, like pin numbers, passwords, like this. Access control. Access control means to access the data we are controlling. Okay, so who can access the data using credentials, a pin number or password? So we can control the data or part of the data for accessing. Okay, so these are the different types of security services provided by ITUT. So first one, data confidentiality. Okay, protecting the data from accessing by the attacker. So hiding or converting one type of data to another type of data, that is confidentiality. We need to provide secrecy. That is the service provided by the confidentiality. And data integrity means so unauthorized changes like insertion, deletion, updation. Okay, so here examples are anti-change, anti-replay attack. Next one, authentication. So authentication means here there are two types. We need to provide the authentication to either sender or the receiver, and we need to provide the authentication to the message. So sender or the receiver means the sender and the receiver must authenticated to each other. Okay, so the sender must know that the receiver is authenticated, and at the same time receiver must know that the sender is authenticated to communicate. Okay, so if both parties authenticated to each other, then they can communicate to each other. Okay, and at the same time data origin means, so whatever the message received by the receiver, the message must coming from authenticated person. Okay, the message must be authenticated, origin of the message, that is the authentication. And next one, non-repudiation. Non-repudiation means, so both parties must provide the proof that they cannot deny the message by the sender or the receiver. Okay, proof of origin means the sender will not deny the message sent by the sender, and proof of delivery means the receiver cannot deny after some time, that is proof of delivery. And last one, access control. Access control means providing the protection to the data from unauthorized access, reading or writing the data or modifying the data and so on. Okay, so this can be controlled by using setting the passwords, pin numbers. This is about security services. And next one, we are going to discuss about security mechanisms. Security mechanisms. Okay, so there are different types of security mechanisms. These are used to provide the services. Okay, these are used to provide the services. Whatever the services we have discussed, those services can be provided by either one mechanism or combination of mechanisms. Okay, so one service and mechanisms, these two are interrelated. Okay, one service can be provided by multiple mechanisms, and one mechanism can provide multiple services. Okay, so that's why we call it as interrelated. Okay, those two are interrelated to each other. So what are the security mechanisms we have? First one, encipherment. Encipherment. Okay, so encipherment means, that means hiding or covering. Okay, encipherment means hiding or covering the data. So using this we can provide the confidentiality. Using this we can provide the confidentiality. Encipherment which provides the service confidentiality. So there are different types of techniques like cryptography or steganography. Okay, so cryptography and steganography techniques, these two techniques are used to provide the service confidentiality. These two are under encipherment. Encipherment mechanism which provides the service confidentiality, and they which contains two types of techniques, cryptography and steganography techniques. Next mechanism is data integrity. Data integrity. So how it provides the data integrity service? This is the mechanism which provides the data integrity. Like it will add some check value to the data for whether the data has modified or not. The check value or checksum can be calculated with some procedure. The receiver, after receiving the message, he will check the check value whether the received check value and the calculated check value both are same or not. If those two are different, then that means the data is modified in the communication process. Okay, that means data integrity. And next one, digital signature. Digital signature. Okay, what is this digital signature? It means that the sender will electronically digitally sign the data. Okay, and whatever the signed data is there, the data will be sent to the receiver, and the receiver will check the signature through some procedures. Here the sender will sign the data and the receiver will verify the signature. Okay, so which provides the authentication whether the data came from correct person or not, authorized person or not. That is digital signature. And next one, authentication exchange. Authentication exchange. Here the two entities, whatever the two entities participating in the communication, those two entities exchange some messages to prove their identity to each other. Okay, they will exchange some messages to prove that I am the correct person. So here before going to exchange whatever the messages, actual content, they will prove their self to each other, both are authenticated to each other or not. So for example, one person can prove that his identity by some secret code must be supposed to know by both parties. Okay, that is authentication exchange. And next one, traffic padding. Okay, padding means adding some bogus data to the some message. Padding means adding some bogus data to the message, actual message. Here we are calling it as traffic padding. Traffic means in the network traffic we are going to insert some bogus characters for misleading the attacker. So we are going to adding some bogus characters, bogus data to network traffic to mislead the attacker. So by this adding some bogus data, he cannot understand the actual data. Okay, so he cannot analyze the data, so he cannot get mail IDs or phone numbers in the network traffic. That is traffic padding. And next one, routing control. Routing control. Routing control means, so generally while we are transferring the data from one system to another system, the protocol which follows some route. Okay, so while if there is a system, so if you want to transfer the data from one system to source, this is the destination, source to destination, there is a network in between. Okay, there are different paths from source to destination. Okay, here routing control means while sending the message from source to destination, we need to change the path for every time. Okay, so one message will be delivered through this path and one message will be delivered through this path. Okay, we need to change the routes. Okay, by changing the routes, so one message will be divided into different parts. So one part will follow one path and another part will follow another path, and like this we can split the message and we can send the message through different routes, so he cannot understand the total message. Okay, that is routing control. And next one, notarization. Okay, notarization means here both are selecting some third party. Okay, for believeness in between those two parties, they will select some third trusted party to control the communication between sender and the receiver. Okay, the main purpose is to prevent the repudiation attack. To prevent the repudiation attack, notarization means it is like agreement in between sender and the receiver. Okay, so using this one they cannot deny the message. And next one, access control. This provides the service access control. Here this mechanism will use different methods to prove that user has access to some data, so like passwords or pin numbers, like I said before, passwords, pin numbers. Okay, so these are the different types of mechanisms, security mechanisms. Encipherment, first one, encipherment, data integrity, digital signature, authentication, traffic padding, routing control, notarization, and access control. Okay, total 8 service security mechanisms are there to provide the security services. What is the relationship between these two concepts? So relation between services and mechanisms. Relation between services and mechanisms. Okay, so data, we have 5 types of services. First we write data confidentiality. Okay, this is one service. And next, data integrity. And next, authentication, non repudiation, access control. These are the services. Okay, and which mechanism is providing this service, or which combination of the mechanisms provide this service? Mechanisms. Okay, so data confidentiality will be provided by encipherment and routing control. Okay, so encipherment and routing control, these two mechanisms are providing data confidentiality and data integrity. Encipherment mechanism, digital signature, and data integrity. Okay, and next, authentication service, same, encipherment, digital signature, authentication, exchange. Okay, and next, non-repudiation. This service provided by digital signature, data integrity, and notarization. Okay, and access control. Okay, this is the relation between services and mechanisms. Data confidentiality is provided by security mechanism, encipherment, and routing control. Okay, so these are all mechanisms, encipherment and routing control. These two mechanisms providing confidentiality service, and data integrity, encipherment, digital signature, and data integrity. These three mechanisms are providing the service data integrity and authentication, encipherment, digital signature, and authentication exchange. Okay, and non-repudiation, digital signature, data integrity, and notarization, and access control mechanism. Okay, so from this table we can observe that encipherment mechanism. So encipherment mechanism is providing three services: data confidentiality, integrity, and authentication. And routing control is providing only one service, that is data confidentiality. Digital signature is providing three services: data integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation. And data integrity is providing two services, data integrity and non-repudiation. And authentication exchange, only authentication is providing. And notarization, non-repudiation. And access control. Okay, so this is about relation between services and mechanisms. So by this we can end the session. Thanks for watching. If you learned something from this video, please like, share, and subscribe.